Hello, Ignited Souls. Yes, we are talking about the Apostle Saul, whose name was changed to Paul. Now, this is the second part, and I'm hoping I can really merge the two parts together so it can be watched as one. Or otherwise, I'll have part one and part two. Okay, so Paul's name was changed from Saul to Paul, and we saw the numerical value from Saul was 8. Now, 8 is a template, and that really confirms that the template has to be broken for you to move into another level. Anytime there is change, that really is denoting like Mother Eve ate of the fruit, and being, of course, the word eat or ate actually equals 8. Now I'm just trying to save on time, so I won't be doing all the numerical values, although I think it does really help to see how it all works. So let's put Mother Eve here for a minute. Yes, and so we had Paul. Okay. Oh, well, have I rubbed? Okay, this is the template. Perhaps I'm going to show you the template that we are working from. And if you're new to this channel, this is what we do here is we dig in deep with deliciousness of numerology and spirituality, quoting the scriptures from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. So let's see. Oh, we had Paul. We already had Saul and Paul here. So we can see that Paul actually equals 14 here. Now, you may have come across some of my videos where there's so much emphasis in this 2020 on the number 14. So it's not meant to, I hadn't intended really mentioning this again, but I just feel it's very profound when we see this. Now, first of all, the cells we are is comes to 14. If you do the numerical value for cell, it's 14. If you do the numerical value for Eve, is 14. And we have many more 14s. And Jesus Christ came from the lineage of 14 generations. And we have the Pope who is going to be signing the Global Educational Pact on the 14th of May 2020. Now, here's the 14th. In addition to this, we have the 14th of the 5th, 2020. Adding this together comes to 14. Pope Francis, if you do convert this numerical the numerical values here on Pope Francis, I really didn't want to do all this again, but it's so important that people understand that any time something is happening so huge, the number 20, the number 20, the number 14. Now 20, of course, has a derivative of number 8 when we do the numerical value for 20. TWENTY is 255527. Adding this together, this is 15, 17, 18, 19, 26. So 2 plus 6 is 8. Now, just to show you, because 8 is actually a template. Now, do forgive me if you watch one of my videos that I did the word template to. I think it was template, and I have added it as though it were 8. But template actually, TEMPLATE, and which is 25473125. I'm going to add this. So this is 5, 10, 15, 15, 22, 23, 27, 28, 29. So template is 29. Now it tells me though to have your template as 29 because it's like saying there's two nines. You you are birthing like the two sets of gods. If you're new to this channel as well, is that we have discovered that we are the embodiment of 14 gods in Genesis chapter 1 and 2, which derives from two creations. So just to really give you a bit of the essence of this. So template is, as I say, apologies here, but it's 11. And 11 actually is the, if we did the numerical value for the word 11 as well, would be 9. So it really means that the template is actually from numbers 1 to 9 as on our template right here. And perhaps I had it correct too, but it really means that it's 29. So numbers, of course, 2 plus 9 is 11, which takes us right here, right in the middle here. 5 plus 6, and this is where there's a new creation, there's a newness here. Hence it is said, when you're in Christ, you are a new creature. So you take on the embodiment of Christ, which is number 5 here, and you are new. You have broken from the template. This is where Mother Eve ate of the fruit. So to eat is ate, but this word to eat actually comes from the mouth, or it is of the mouth. You cannot eat without your mouth. Of course, we are doing this right now. We are digging deep, but we can still taste that deliciousness where we can salivate with our mouths. Okay, so what we are really highlighting here is all what we are, our world is built on this numerical construct, and it's everything we do, it's about numbers right now. In fact, I read something about the Hanson Robotics and the games that they're coding children with. There are no words now. Once upon a time where it was in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. Now this is going to be the flip side. It would be in the beginning was numbers, and the word and the world was numbers. That's what I think it's going to be. So it's all numbers now. And this is why I feel it is important that we learn to develop our our intelligence, if you like, or minds, our senses around numbers, to understand number. Okay, you're walking down the road and you see 5 or you see 6 or something. You will always see numbers, but at least understand what is it telling you at that moment. It may be answering a question that you needed an answer to. So back to 20, and with number 8, so we see that the Saul being 8, Saul, which has 4 letters as well, which tells me that it was about his north, his south, his east and west. And that's the news. NEWS, which is what we are always being fed on. It also could mean the elements of earth, wind, and fire. Earth, wind, fire, and air. Okay, water. You get it. Yeah, it could also, oh, I was just thinking earth, wind, okay, N. It's not an okay. I just thought perhaps it would just fall in line because things just work out so synchronistically here. Now, so Paul or Saul was 9 here, and this is where Saul, sorry, Saul was 8, and he had to break off that template. Breaking off that template, it meant he had to have a mirror aspect of himself. So you can imagine, for instance, that 8, the figure 8, is actually of a hole like this. It's a circle, but it gets twisted. So if you had the illusion that there were 2 circles this is perhaps not a very good example here, but there were two circles, then you would know, you would have, it's like you break this thing and then you mend it so you can make sense of it. It's coming together and seeing that mirror aspect of yourself. This is why I am doing this. So I'm hoping you too can see the aspect of yourself and vice versa. Okay. So, talking about Paul now, this is why, of course, when Saul was blind and he of course was healed and he regained his sight, isn't this very symbolic? This is the most, perhaps one of the most symbolic stories of our times, because now this is like very synchronistic in the sense of we are in 2020 where we all are meant to have perfect visions, or perfect vision, perfect visions as well. And having this perfect vision, this story of Paul is indicative of that we are now supposed to see ourselves, because four letters of Saul and four letters of Paul, meaning 4 plus 4 is 8. But this is where we are now. Paul is really saying that you are now ready to learn from this, 11:11 on the clock, learn from this story and form your new template by creating man in your own image and likeness. Now, this is the thing that we are meant to see and understand. We were not able to do this to know what we are creating because we were blind, but now we are able to see. Like someone said, now wrote a message. Thank you very much as well. That now you can see the truth. And that's what this 2020 is about. So we can see the truth. So why would God change people's names like this? And so many stories. Moses equals 8 as well, and Abraham equaled 8. Now, these are two stories, for instance, that has created phenomenal impact in our world today, especially in Christianity. And don't we ask question, don't we question why these two major figures, and there are more as well, that equals 8? Abraham actually had equal 8, and even when his name was changed, he equaled 8, but it came like 26. It's like really giving you another mirror aspect of self, if you like. But this is another story. And there was so much more to Adam, to Abraham's story as well, because there's a very joyous element added to Abraham's story, which I have covered, and I would love to do this again. So we can see here that Paul, and we have the AUL almost sounding like an owl. Which would mean that you can see in the dark. I don't know where this is coming from now, but this is what the Bible, I believe now I've got, in fact, I have so much more respect for the Bible even now, because I feel that this is a book that relies on your own intuitive language with the divine for you to really see and understand the full context of what it is conveying, particularly in your life. And I really feel that we all have our own little unique language, and by tapping into that, we can tap into this divine revelation. So 14 here is like, as I say, 1 plus 4 is 5. This coincides with Mother Eve, EVE, and this is why now we are ready to go back to oh, there's 14 on the clock, for our divine, the divine feminine, to really understand and appreciate that we will our primary teaching, our primary nurturing, our primary love, our primary games, because she was really the one with the games to turn into a serpent. She's, being slippery and, and sly and saying, yeah, have God said. It's almost like a mother and her daughter saying, oh, have your father said you shouldn't have this? But she knows the father is being very strict and, or she knows the game and she really wants to give the daughter a little edge and says, no, you shall not surely die. Because that's the game. That's the construct. That's how we were designed to be. It would not have been made known otherwise, the makeup, how we are, and what our divine purpose is here for. To also look at the story, for instance, when God blessed, because the blessing, I believe, or the breath rather, and God breathed into man's nostrils and he became a living soul. I actually thought that it was before when God blessed them, and it may be blessed, but for sure it happened too when God breathed, because I have broken down the word breathed and realized that all of life exists in that. All of life exists in the word breathed. Do check out my videos on breath, or take a deep breath before you watch this. That's what it's titled, something like that. And you will see the magnitude. You will come to appreciate the essence of breath so much. Again, this is coinciding with our world today. Isn't that what we are all concerned about, that we are able to breathe? So if we learn about breath, if we tap into the essence of breath, then we will be equipping ourselves to understanding the fullness or the breadth of life itself. So Paul is now ready to show us this. And we can see that, of course, it was here that he got to understand who he truly was. In number 14, he actually fell in line with the genealogy of Christ. It's like he took on the Christ, or Jesus's cloak, if you like. He became the most talked about, whether it was him and John, but he was very radical in really spreading the gospel. And this is where we see that 14. And there's something very unique about Paul's writing, which I think in Galatians there, and this was when I actually came out of Christianity, because Paul said something like, the thing that I try not to do is the thing that I end up doing. He said things like, if someone offers you something, don't condemn them for because they do not practice what you do, but be thankful. He also said many other quotes like this, but yes, the other thing he also said in on many occasions, it was, now with the other disciples, now he understands the meaning of what it means to be Christ. It is like he was saying to the other disciples, now we too have to die like Christ. A lot of people are saying, yeah, yeah, Christ died on the cross to save me, and he saved me and washed my sins and whatever. Paul speaks about this dying, and he says, and I die daily. And he really takes that on board, and understanding that there is the two polarities that have to come together. So 7 plus 7 is 14, and this is the 14 gods that we are talking about. And this is what has not been spoken on. Now, what is the correlation of 14 and Paul and the Pope? Pope Francis. Pope is 7 and Francis is 7, and he happens to be the 266th Pope, meaning two sixes. It's like saying two, and there are two sixes, meaning of human being created on the sixth day. Isn't that telling us something very fundamental here? I think it is. And there is so much more synchronicities. Why is no one talking about this or picking this up? To understand that we are numerically or I'm hoping I've said this right. But we are constructed in that kind of format through the numbers. Through numbers, you've got two eyes, you've got two nostrils, you've got a mouth, and all these are five holes right here. We are talking about five is really speaking to us. Hence, it is five uh, fingers or five. Okay, we say fingers and thumb, but it's still the same. Five senses. So it's really saying that we need the five senses to really merge. The five is that which merges just like on the sacrifice template. When you are in here, you are merging on either sides. You are in the middle. You can't say you are just more on one side. You are in the middle, in the center here. And that's what five is about. That's what Mother Eve is about. Now, there's something really wonderful as well. The first word of the Bible equals 14. This is number 9, I, and N is 5. Adding this together equals 14. So, as I say, that this is really this is a real revelation, and a lot of people are going into revelation now because they have to talk about a 666 and the mark of the beast and all of that. No, it's going back to, because going back to Genesis, we are now supposed to go back to Genesis to understand the five gifts that we were first given: to multiply, to be fruitful, to replenish, to subdue, and have dominions. This is the five. To go back to the Old Testament, just for, it's like going back and realizing, hey, I missed something on that path. It's not just saying, oh, yeah, it's revelation. Revelation actually is designed in a way to get this whole thing all turned upside down in a way that the whole cycle goes on again, unless you are prepared to see, unless you are prepared to be Paul again. It sounds like be born again, but be Paul again. So this is what I feel is happening right here. I want to make this video no longer than, well, let's just do another couple minutes just to wrap this up. But there's so much more to really understand through the scriptures. And I'm feeling that a need to really get into the first chapter, not verse 14, meaning Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14, and to just get the essence of 14 right here. Now, 14 has one of the symbols around it I always think is like something very important there. And it says, and God said, let the lights in the heavens, let the lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. In fact, I intended doing a video on days and nights and seasons and signs and so on. I'm going to do a video on this. I would like you to watch this and to see how the correlation again is happening perfectly, and it's all about the gods. So it's the God of sayings here is saying, let there be lights. So basically it's acknowledging the light in the firmament of the heaven and to divide that which is from day. So in the middle of the template as well, you have, so you could say it's a division here, because number 5 is the divided God. Let's see if I can get, so number 5 is the divided God. Here, he's the 5th God, here, and that's the divided God. We see the divided God has a numerical value of 3. 3 is that which sets things into motion. And of course, 3 is actually 11. Did we say something about 11? The template. So this is where the template is being set right here in 3. Now, why is it in 3? Because in the word 3 is also there, like what Mother Eve said, let there be light. Oh, there is so much more to this. Do join me again when as you go along, the pieces are going to come together, because in the word there, which was the eight Latins, Mother Eve said, or letters. They were like contracts, as I say, Mother. So it was like the gods, they were all given their own role, or their own contract, hence the word own. And when they own the contract, they won it. Of course, they won it, and then they had to be present. This is the word now. So we have all this is equals, equals 7. So there we see in 7, the word 7, where it also equals 20. So we can see that this message here is very present. It is very applicable. It is very relative. It is very important that we pay heed to this message right now. I really believe so. And because of time, I didn't do all the numerical values on here, but I really wanted to highlight the essence of Paul and Saul, and why we change names. And of course, you too may have considered changing your name. See how you um, relate, or how you identify with your name. You probably have had something within you that you feel you have never been able to identify with your name, or the name that you was given, because your name is yours, but the name you was given, you probably have not been able to identify with it. I think it might be your divine intelligence is telling you something. And in my case, I actually changed my name, but without even thinking about it, it had the same numerical values, in the sense that I had my same expression number and same passion, or soul urge number. These were because when you are divinely guided, everything just works. But it had to be broken, just like for Paul, it had to be broken in a way that could be understood. I'm going to do another part to this uh, presentation, because I feel it would be necessary to really show how the mouth and the tongue and the numbers really work well together to understanding the significance of changing names. And when the change comes, it means that it's a demarcation of a great change, like it was for Paul. So do join me again. I hope you have enjoyed this delicious meal. I certainly have. And I do just, in fact, I feel you. I really actually, before doing this presentation, I had this expansion of warmness in my heart, and it just felt so right. Perhaps it is saying somebody out there really needs to hear this, and I don't think it's just one person, but it gives me great joy to be able to share this with you. So just really enjoy this and share this video. Do subscribe and like, and let's dig in some more while I do another presentation on this, and to really highlight the significance of this change and numbers, and how the Bible really reflects this, how it impacts on us. We don't seem to have taken time to find out the full meaning of why Paul's name was changed. We probably just go more about his message, but it's the transformation that's important, the transformation. So I do thank you, and stay ignited.